Good morning. Come on here. They need to see you. Get right there. Here we go. Woke up a little bit excited this morning. Had some things in my heart I wanted to say. Two of our sons is in town. Then I remembered this trophy they gave us. Y'all see that trophy? Our kids gave this trophy to us. 15 years ago, they gave this trophy to us. It's a marriage trophy. They put on it because they knew our favorite scripture back then was Matthew 19:6. So they are no longer two but one. Therefore, what God had joined together, let no man put asunder. Let no man separate. Let no man part. Our children gave this trophy to us 15 years ago. It sits right there in our family room. We see it every morning. We see it every day. Any other trophy don't matter. Any other award don't matter. Any other praise don't matter. Or any other congratulations don't matter. This is what our children gave us 15 years ago. Still fighting, still grinding, still pushing, still in love, still one team, still the same team. So how do you get here? 22 years later, how do we get here? Still married, still happy, still together, still one team, still the same team, still fighting, still grinding. How do you get past the pain? The pain of marriage. How do you get past the pressure? How do you get past the pressure of marriage? How do you get past the problems? How do you get past the problems of marriage? Our children gave it to us 15 years ago. How do you get past the pain? How do you get past the problem? How do you get past the pressure? How do you get past the pitfalls of marriage? 22 years later, still in love, still fighting, still grinding, still the same team, still one team. How do you get past the pain? How do you get past the pressure? How do you get past the problems? How do you get past them?
You gotta work on it. You gotta agree. You gotta
speak up, baby.
You gotta work on it. You gotta talk. You gotta agree. You gotta come to some type of resolution. You have to have some type of standard in your marriage.
How do you get past the pain? How do you get past the pressure? How do you get past the problem? How do you get past the persecution? Oh, it's gonna be some persecution.
Yes, it is.
There's gonna be some problems.
Yes, it is.
There's gonna be some pain.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be some pressure. 22 years later, all other awards don't matter. All other congratulations don't matter. All other praise don't matter. Our children gave this to us 15 years ago. 22 years later, we still pushing, we still fighting, we still grinding. Still one team, still the same team. Team Bail. So now how do you get past the pain? Now let me get focused on what the message was. But like I said, our sons is here today. I got excited. We was talking and we got to talking about the trophy. How do you get past the pain? How do you get past the pressure? How do you get past the problem? How do you get past the persecution? You got to pray. You got to fight. You got to grind. You got to push. You got to focus. Then what? Then you got to work. After you don't pray, after you don't fight, after you don't grind, after you don't push, after you don't focus on your marriage, then what? You still got to work. You still got to work. Well, what is work, Rob? What is work? What is work? What is work? You got to invest. People don't want to invest in their marriage.
No, they don't. No, they do not.
They invest in everything else but their marriage.
Yes, they do.
When you get your driver's license, you can get your temps. You got to get temporary license first before you get permanent driver's license. And you need those temporary driver's license for 6 months. 6 months. Then, I don't know, I'm going way back. I'm going way back 40 years ago when I was getting my temps. Then I think you got to take like 200 hours of class or something like that. And you got to take like 40 hours of driving with an instructor. They don't just give you a license. You got to do 6 months of training. You got to get temporary license first. You got to invest. You got to invest 6 months of learning how to drive before you get your permanent driving license. You got to invest. People don't want to invest. How do you invest, Rob? This is how me and Vicky invested. We put in work. We grind. We pray. We fight. We focus. We push. But from day one when we got married, when we decided we were going to get married, before we got married, we went to premarital counseling. Well, Ron, why did y'all go to premarital counseling? Because we dated. We dated for 2 or 3 years off and on, and it was so much drama. Oh, we ain't going back to that Bob and Vicky. We ain't going back to that Bob and Vicky. That Bob and Vicky was crazy. We dated for 2 or 3 years, and it just wasn't working out. When I knew God sent this woman to be my wife. So when we got back together, we decided we was going to get married. First thing I said, you hear me? You hear me, dudes? You hear me, men? Do you hear me, man? Didn't I say, if we going to get married, let's go to marital counseling?
Yes, you did. Yes, he did.
So we went to marital counseling. We wrote down everything. We got paper and pencil out, and we wrote down everything how we wanted our marriage to look like, how we wanted our marriage to be. Blended family, single man, 2 kids, divorced man with 2 kids, divorced woman with 2 kids. We decided we was going to get married. Okay, girl, how are we going to make this thing work? We wrote down everything how we thought this marriage should look like, how we thought this marriage was going to work. Then we went to a counselor. We going back to January 1997 to sit down with a counselor. Oh, you're going to invest. To sit down with a counselor, a marital counselor. In 1997, it was $150 $175 an hour, something like that. We went to the counselor. We set up. When I called the counselor. You hear me, man? I called the counselor, and I set up 5 or 6 appointments with her. Look, we getting ready to get married. I need these appointments with you. Boom, boom, boom. $150. Let's just say $150 appointment. We went to the marital counseling. When I made the appointments, listen to me, man. When I made the appointment, I made the counseling appointment with a black female counselor. Did I do that?
Yes, you did.
I made the appointment with a black female counselor. Because I wouldn't feel like if I wanted her to feel like it was 2 against 1. We sat down and talked to that woman for 30 minutes on a 1-hour counseling session, and you know, first of all, you spend 15 minutes just doing the preliminaries. What's your name? This. What's your history? This, and that. After that 15 minutes, then we showed her our paperwork. Look, we want to get married, but this is how we gonna work this out. Boom, boom, boom. This is what the counselor said. Y'all don't need me. Did she say that?
Yeah, the counselor said that we didn't need her.
She said, go ahead, I'm sorry, babe.
She said if we can put all that down on paper and we can organize that, we didn't need her at all.
She said, y'all don't need me. If y'all gonna do everything that y'all got wrote down on paper, she said, if y'all are gonna do, not say, if y'all are gonna do everything that y'all got wrote down on paper, y'all gonna be all right. Matter of fact, if y'all gonna do, not say, if y'all gonna do everything y'all got wrote down on paper, y'all need to be teaching this. That was 22 years ago. We invested. We was investing. Then she told us this. Y'all don't need me. I don't want y'all to come back. Unless y'all just want to give me y'all $150, then y'all can come back. I'll gladly take it.
But she was honest.
She said, I'll gladly take the $150 an hour. But y'all don't need me. Y'all need to be teaching this. But she could have took our money, and we was willing to pay for those counseling sessions. We was willing to pay for those counseling sessions.
Yeah.
You got to invest.
But we continued to invest throughout our marriage. That wasn't the only investment.
That wasn't the only investment. I'm telling you how you get past the pain, how you get past the pressure, how you get past the problem. You got to invest.
Every year.
We went to the counselor. She said we didn't need her. So we said, okay, cool. If you say we good, we going to keep our $150 an hour in our pocket. Then our friends, they were starting their marital counseling group. No, their ministry.
Yeah.
We have friends that were starting their marital ministry. Broken Wings in Cleveland.
Yes. Yes.
They had a 12-week session.
Yes.
They said, Rob and Vicky, come to the session. Okay, let's go, baby. We invested.
Yep.
For 12 straight weeks, we went to their marital class. Wasn't nobody in the class but me and her. We were the only people in the class. It was one other couple that came maybe twice in the 12 weeks. But other than that, we were there for 12 straight weeks. For an hour and a half, we sat in their class. We listened to what they said on marriage. 12 straight weeks. We invested. The class was free, but we invested our time. We invested our time. You got to invest. You invest in everything else. I told you earlier, you got to invest 6 months into get your driver's license. When you turn 15, you got to do 6 months of driving ed. Driver's ed. You got to do 6 months of driver ed. You got to drive so many hours before you get your driver's license. But we don't want to invest no money in our marriage. We went to premarital counseling. We went to our friend marriage ministry group for 12 straight weeks. They taught us on marriage. Every year, except for the last 5 years, because there ain't been none in Vegas.
None in Vegas.
Ain't been none in Vegas. But every year since we've been married, we go to a marriage conference. Sometime two.
Yeah.
Listen, man. And every year we go to those marriage conferences, I call and set it up. I call and make the appointment. I pay for it. And I say, hey, Vicki, October 6th, they having a marriage conference in Las Vegas. We going. So make sure you ain't got nothing to do October 6th, Vicki. We going to, every year since we've been married, we've been going to a marriage conference. Yes. Once or twice every year. Once or twice every year we go to a marriage conference until we got to Vegas. There is none here. We ain't been to none. But every church we've been a part of, if they got a marriage ministry, we go to their marriage ministry.
Yes, we do.
Am I telling the truth?
Yeah.
You got to invest. You invest in everything else. You invest in everything else, but you don't invest in your marriage. How do you invest in everything else but your marriage? How do you invest in everything else but your marriage? I told you, my wife gonna be talking about money. Listen, dude, how was you looking at your wife? I was telling somebody last night, your wife and your kids is your namesake. My namesake is Vicki Bell. My namesake is Kirk Bell. My namesake is Robert Bell Jr. My namesake is Tommy Bell. My namesake is Little Maria Bell. Those are my namesake. I'm responsible for them. No matter how old they get, no matter how much trouble they get into, no matter how right they live, those are my namesake. I'm responsible for them. If I die tomorrow, I'm still responsible for them. How am I going to die tomorrow and my wife got to go to a GoFundMe page to try to bury me? I'm going here. You ain't got no insurance on you. Hey, wife, go to your husband. Hey, honey, what is your life insurance policy looking like? Oh, I don't want you to die tomorrow. I don't want you to die 10 years from now. But just in case you die next week, how am I looking? Hey, honey, how am I looking? While you riding around in your brand new car, while you got on your Gator shoes, while you paying $200 for Air Jordans, how much insurance do you got on you, baby? While you sitting up there looking at football, dude, for 2 and 3 games, because football season is back. While you looking at 3 and 4 games of football, how much insurance you got on you? You got to invest. You don't want to invest in your marriage. You don't want to invest in your namesake. Your wife is your namesake. Your son is your namesake. Your daughter is your namesake. Your grandbabies is your namesake.
Yeah, another thing that I think I know that we always did, we always surrounded ourselves with other married couples. Not too often would I hang out with single women or he would hang out with single men. We always had couples, married couples that we hung out with. We always tried to have a mentoring couple or a couple that was speaking to our life that that we thought highly of. But we always surround ourselves with good, solid couples.
Good, solid couples that invested in us, invested time, invested their knowledge, invested their problems, invested their pain, invested their pressure, their persecution. Hey, Rob, I've been there. I've done that. I understand. I understand what you're going through. This is how you get through it. This is how you fight through it. Rob and Vicki, y'all got marital problems, y'all got children problems, y'all got life problems. You got to have somebody that's going to speak into your life, that's going to speak truth, that's going to speak life, that's going to speak honesty.
Yeah, another married couple that's solid. I think that's the only element I would add.
Yeah, that's what we did. You got to invest. You got to invest. How you going to get past the pressure? How you going to get past the pain? How you going to get past the problem? How you going to get past the persecution? You got to invest.
Yeah.
You don't want to invest nothing in your marriage. Look at today. What's today? September what? Whatever, September 8th or 9th, 10th, I think. Look at today and look back a year ago. Where are you today and what was you last year? Where are you today and what was you at last year?
Alrighty.
Team Bell, 1 + 1 will always be
1.
2 is bigger, but it's still
1.
1,000, 2.
10,000.
How do you get past the pain, the pressure, and the problem? You got to invest. Team Bell, we out.